In this video, I'll be sharing simple strategies for teaching reading. Now, one thing I want you to know is that a child's journey towards learning to read, towards literacy, involves a whole lot of things. It's not about reading alone. If you focus on reading alone, you might not get the best out of it. There are so many things it encompasses. For example, now, when we talk about literacy, let's start with literacy. Literacy involves learning to speak, learning to read, learning to listen, learning to understand, watch, draw, and write. All these are the foundational skills that children are expected to have to be able to read. And it has to do with literacy in general. So all these skills that you're saying, they begin at birth. For example, now the child is watching you. Once the child is out of the womb, the child is blinking the eyes here and there to see what is happening in his or her environment. And as they grow older, they tend to listen to what is happening in their environment. They tend to try to speak with what is happening or with whoever that is around them. That's why they make different sounds that we hear from them. And as time goes on, they try to understand what they see and how they can do things. For example, now, why do babies stay glued to cartoons? It's because they are attracted to the screen. They are attracted to something that is nice that they are seeing. So all these are the foundational skills that they need to have. So it's not as if it's when a child is probably 1 year old or 2 year old that will do all these things. No, that is why you see people read to babies. They read them bedtime stories, they show them pictures, they watch movies and cartoons, and before you know it, because they absorb things like sponge, and later they start making use of all this. And so learning to read is not a crash course that children can take and are done with. No, it is developmental in nature. That means it takes step by step. It starts with when a baby looks at you, when a baby hear you talk, when a baby see you move. So when children struggle with some of these things like comprehension in passage or text or stories, it's because the foundation is weak or in early years, and that is why they are having that challenge. So what we are going to do is to see how we can combine some of all these tools to make children read very early, and it will reduce the stress of teaching, since the adult around have various strategies to use. Now, when we want to talk about reading, there are so many strategies that we can use. There are so many curriculums, there are so many videos that you can use. For example, now there are different methods in the early years. We have the Montessori method. The Montessori method has a way of teaching language. We have Jolly Phonics. Then the Nigeria curriculum, the way we teach our letters and all that. So all these are various ways that we can, but we are going to stick to one first. We are going to stick to one first. So let's start with how to read to babies and toddlers.